What is the daily violent death of young black men, boys, and bystanders? It's actually called the Chicago tragedy. Back in 2016, 2 people were dying per day. That was 762 people in the Chicago alone. And quoting Josh Sanborn and David Johnson, quote, "The victims were mostly black in their teens, while many of the suspects had prior arrest records, period. And increasingly, much of the violence occurred in just a handful of neighborhoods. But we're not allowed to talk about it. It happens in mostly Democrat jurisdictions, and only if guns and gun control can be brought up are these deaths relevant to our legacy media. The legacy media ignores the race of the shooters and the targets to promote their own progressive agenda, such as to defund the police. But then you must ask, as I have asked, how many of the shooters and targets went to Catholic school? How many went to Protestant school? How many are from 2-parent families? The answer is none. It is the shooters and the targets that we're to focus on. To expand school choice is off limits to our patronizing white progressives and their allies. They don't want to offer lifeboats from failing schools. In Connecticut, for example, there are 6,000 mostly high-needs black and Hispanic students on wait lists to get into public charter schools. But our progressive leadership, Governor Lamont, Speaker of the House, Matt Ritter, and the leader of the Senate, Martin Looney, stand in the schoolhouse door and won't give a lifeboat to these 6,000 mostly high-needs black and Hispanic students. We cannot talk about the impact of single parenthood on poverty and the Chicago tragedy. The legacy media, they respect marriage and 2-parent families in their own lives. Just don't promote it for the poor. They don't want to talk about it. They think it would offend someone. As far as they're concerned, the poor may remain poor. They prefer to avoid offending other progressives, the woke, rather than save lives. In 2015, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, homicide took 49.5% of young black men ages 15 to 19 and 49.7% of young black men ages 20 to 24. This was followed by intentional injuries between 22 and 23% of deaths, and then suicide between 8 and 9%. And only then heart disease came in, around 3%. This is a tragedy that should be avoided. First, we must give it a name, the Chicago tragedy. Second, we must identify the behavior and take steps to lessen it. Catholic and Protestant school avenues could be available through scholarship, certainly increasing the funding for public charter schools as a lifeboat out of failing schools, and 2-parent families should be front and center for this core institution of our society. We must be allowed to discuss this. If you'd like to read more about this, you can do that in my book, 100 Questions After the Killing of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and the Chicago Tragedy. Thank you.